I struggle to come up with a reason for why Dustforce is as underrated as it is. With almost 10 years under its belt, and not even 1,000 Steam reviews to its name, Hitbox Team's platforming title is severely lacking in popularity, and deserves the same amount of attention as its hardest levels require. The dust motif and 4 playable janitors are mere window dressing to present a fun, sophisticated, and entrancing platformer that not only rivals its Skinless Brothers playability, but arguably triumphs over it. Before we continue, please do like the video, subscribe, and tell me in the comments if you've played this game already, because a lot of people who watched my other videos regarding it seem to be passionate about it. To put it simply, Dustforce is one of many indie platformers that relishes hard difficulty, with losing being a fundamental part of the experience. While the Meat Boy comparisons are very easy to make at a glance, it isn't until you sit down with DF for a little bit before you realize how different it really is. Beating the earlier worlds might seem simple enough in that there's checkpoints and unlimited lives, but that's hardly what Dustforce is about. Perfection is key. Levels are long and require your consistent attention. There's a huge emphasis on flow and elegance. Stages aren't afraid to give you long stretches of area to breathe and garner your focus before the harder snippets. Making a mistake might cause you to restart the entire level, but it's not as bad as you'd think since most stages aren't constant gauntlets of hard layouts. There's plenty of room to mentally prep for the exact part you're having troubles with. Physics are also quite different from MB. While there is a lot of adjustable airtime and length in Meat Boy's acceleration, it doesn't have as many environmental and momentum-influenced factors as Dust's. If you took 10 different players and dashed off of a sloped surface, each of them would more than likely get varied results, yet an experienced player would be able to replicate the same grace and platforming skill every run. Heavy and light attacks that reward you with more jumps mid-air also further set DF apart from its inspirations. It's these finer details that make this game so much more lasting than games with more cut and dry character actions. Because there is so much range and sophistication in how the character controls, there's more nuance and subtlety to ultimately get better at. Admittedly, this is a strange comparison, but in Beat Saber you actually get a higher score when you slice a music cube perfectly down the middle. It can vary by quite a large margin depending on where you cut. This change, while seemingly small, makes it so that the leaderboards aren't topped off with the same exact people getting the same perfect score in every song. Similarly, actions in Dustforce that have a wide margin of different outcomes depending on very little input difference gives players a much larger and lasting skill ceiling to chase, which is a stark contrast to the people who are able to speedrun games with simpler physics. A really interesting predicament Dustforce has is that a lot of players don't even know it's a video game. Let me explain what I mean. It'd be a sin for me to dedicate a video to this title without touching on arguably its greatest achievement, the music. I cannot overstate enough how amazing Meat Boy's metal/chiptune soundtrack is, but Dust doesn't really try to compete with that. Rather, songs are zen-inducing and really considerate of the amount of time players will probably spend in these stages. Tracks flow in and out of earshot perfectly, and invoke feelings of sitting down for a long study session. You can find yourself more immersed in this than many horror games out there. The music in this game is commendable enough that the community has a running joke of it being more popular than Dustforce itself. And honestly, I don't think I've ever seen that before. People will take the tracks at face value, not even knowing what it's from, which is a giant shame. So, what do we make of DF after all we've seen and said in this video? Well, while it is tragic that the game is as underrepresented as it is, it's a really bittersweet situation that its following, while small, is as dedicated, driven, and productive as it is, with an active Discord server that hosts races and an intricate editor that lets players add their own stages. It is a game built to last, not just in its difficulty, but in its bottomless content. Dustforce will never need an expansion, a redesign, or even a sequel. While Meat Boy's second game had this word in its title, Dustforce's gameplay and community are truly forever. Thanks so much for watching. Please do subscribe to the channel and like the video if you've enjoyed what you've seen. Have a great night. Bye-bye.